Hey, Bowie Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report once again from Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia.
Late
We just
one.
talked about great win here for the Celtics. Execution down the stretch, up and down. We hit on the players, Tatum and Brown, who certainly shared highs and lows in this one. Both of them coming up big late in the game. Brown a mid-range pull-up, and Tatum the game winner from three ends this one and puts the Celtics in the win column again against Philadelphia. But if they lost this one, I think the big thing we'd be looking at were the lineups. Celtics go double big again to start this one. 30 minutes each for Al Horford, Robert Williams. Both of them rock solid in this one. Grant Williams, after just 6 minutes against Indiana, plays 28 in this one. Plays a big role, as do Derrick White and Malcolm Brogdon, those smaller ones than they played against Indiana. You had to imagine the Celtics were going to go bigger in this game. And you know that the Celtics are going to have many tough matchup decisions down the stretch of this season. So in a game like this, Marcus Smart's not playing as well, but they still go back to him in crunch time. White, Brogdon playing amazing, but you need two bigs on the floor to guard Embiid and keep your size out there against the Philly front line. They're not easy decisions. What did you think of the different ones he made tonight?
I didn't have a problem with it, to be honest with you. And I think he's starting to figure this thing out in the sense of coming up with those playoff rotations. Because what do we got about 20 games left? I mean, this is around the time of the season.
Getting tight.
Exactly. It's getting tight. You have a relatively healthy roster outside of Gallinari. So this is the time to do it. And I'm glad Mazzulla is taking that approach because it's what you want to do for a team that's destined to make a deep playoff run, right? So I don't mind it. And I thought he did a good job in this one. The only thing I was surprised to see was less minutes for Brogdon. I don't know if that's because of what happened against Indy overtime. Maybe you're trying to watch his playing time and try
36
to
from
keep.
that
Yeah, he almost had 40, right? 40 minutes. Like you don't. That's just really outside of Brogdon, what he usually does, what he's accustomed to. So maybe that had something to do with it. But outside of that, I agreed with it. I mean, he put Sam Hauser in there, and James Harden lit up in terms of like, oh man, I can really go against this guy, and he pulled him. And I think that was his way of saying, look, maybe we need a little more playmaking than some outside shooting when you have other guys that are doing a good job. Look, Grant Williams didn't do a whole lot on offense, but I thought he did a really good job with a few blocks at the rim, some stops on defense, offensive rebounding, second chance opportunity. So he plays almost 30 minutes where he couldn't even hit double digits in playing time against Indiana. So I think, yes, it's matchup based. I think Mazzulla's keeping that in mind. What's best for the team. You don't have to stick with the same rotations every single night just because that's what you guys do. But I also think that he's taken note of the big picture, and all of these games are going to add up to what's going to be the concrete, rotation moving forward, which I think we'll probably know for sure within the next week or two. I really do think he's trying to fill things out because he finally has this stretch of games where everyone is available.
Grant admitted it's tough. It can be frustrating to have a night like Thursday where he's barely on the court, not after halftime at all. I know you missed that night. Strange decision to see Sam Hauser play over him and Grant not appear at all when he's been a 28, 29 minute per game guy for much of this season. But that's through injuries, that's through rest and management for other guys. Now he's going to take less minutes. Mike Muscala didn't play again tonight, and he started against Milwaukee last week before the break. And all these guys have to accept these new roles. And Al Horford said after the game, the big thing is that they're all trying to win. So they're all a little more willing to take a hit on stats, take a hit on minutes, and even roles within this team. And they're all kind of spacing the floor. Mm-hmm. They're all playing complementary roles for Brown and Tatum. But there are some important decisions late in games for on-off, and that guard spot's really where it's at. We know Pritchard's not going to play, which we've covered plenty this year. But White and Brogdon play incredible in this game, and Smart really wasn't all that good for much of it. Makes a few plays late. But not his best game at all. He wasn't great against Indiana either until the overtime period. This is going to be a real test for Mazzulla, especially when the playoffs come. Can he sit down Smart, play Brogdon over him if necessary, play White now with how great he's been over either one of them? It's three starting level point guards that start on most teams in the NBA, and Brogdon and White are sitting on the bench late tonight.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Bobby. I just think Mazzulla doesn't want to be or characterized as that coach who's going to slam the panic button and alert the other team. Oh, we got him now. He's benching Marcus at the end of the fourth. Derrick White's in there, and this other team. I don't think this is that type of game. If the Celtics are down by 6-7 points, 2 minute 2 minutes left to go, I think you see a completely different approach. I just think he trusts Marcus to make those right plays, and rightfully so. Like, look, Tatum hit the big shot, but that was a heck of a pass. Like,
Set him up
to make that bounce pass through traffic, to put it, perfectly into Tatum's hand, who obviously had to stop to create space. That's all Tatum right there. But I thought the ball placement was perfect. And I think Marcus has improved so much in that aspect, in that part of his game, passing, finding guys, especially in transition. So I think I think he's worked really hard to be trusted in that moment. So I think it's going to be more of a panic move if you don't see him out there. But at the same time, if you see the two guard lineup, if it's hot, if that's what got them to that point, at that particular point, in any hypothetical situation against a particular team, you see him do that as well. But again, I think it's more of a how good does Mazzulla feel about his team winning and putting his end of the lineup, guys at the end of a game. I think that's a telling sign of how he feels, his team's going to win.
Skillful or not, I think he also kind of snuck in some extra minutes for those guys. A smart sat between the middle of the third and almost 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So he kept him on the bench for a long time. He saw him coming out, interacting with the refs, showing probably a little frustration with the officiating more than
he was doing that
being
a lot
on the bench
during timeouts.
But it was a tough night for Smart, and they allow him to prevail, and everybody comes out of this one feeling good. They hit all the right buttons, you would think, coming away as winners in this game. The other question is going forward, the starters. That double big lineup, the numbers aren't great right now, but this is only the third game this year that those guys start together. Do you see it out, or do you think about getting Derrick White out in there again, where he's been so great this year, to try to get him extra minutes?
Again, I think it's matchup based, but yeah, I mean,
do you think it'll change?
I think it'll change. I do, because it's tempting to not go to that lineup. Even though Derrick White, even coming off the bench, has still been solid for you. It's not like one of those situations where he's not getting enough touches or he's not being aggressive enough. I mean, he's gonna find his role, whether he's coming off the bench or not. He's gonna be effective either way, which is good, because that wasn't always the case with Derrick White in terms of him, adjusting to this team, a year ago or even the beginning of the season. So I mean, I do think he will that lineup fluctuates, but I don't think it happens often. I think maybe matchups against teams like the Bucks or maybe the Heat, maybe you switch things up a bit. But in a matchup like this, you wanted to go double big against Joel Embiid. You wanted to have that outside threat in Al Horford, because Embiid's not going to chase him. And as Doc Rivers said after this loss, way too many open shots for Al Horford, and he made them pay.
For sure. And it worked last year. I think you see it out, see if they can mesh, and not a lot of time left to make changes, which is the hard part.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
There is 21 games to go. We'll be at the next one in New York. We're on to there tomorrow.
Big Apple, let's do it.
Big travel day for us, and we'll be back at it for Celtics Knicks on Monday. Stay tuned here. Check out our recap of this incredible game here. Celtics beat the Sixers 110-107. Show our sponsor some love. BetterHelp.com/Garden will get you 10% off your first month. Therapy over there. Connect with licensed therapists right from your phone, and ones that are right for you, as well as Athletic Greens. athleticgreens.com/Garden will get you 5 free travel packs, vitamins, minerals, and more. 75 of them in each pack, as well as the full container powder that you're going to get, as well as a year's supply of vitamin D for free when you head over there. athleticgreens.com/Garden. For Josue, Pavon, Bobby Manning, subscribe. Celtics All Access, CLNS Media, and this has been the Garden Report here from Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia.